In this video about nouns, I want to talk about the information that nouns carry, especially a very important third type. So we've talked about number already. Nouns have number, they have gender, and now we need to talk about case. Nouns have the ability to give you information by their case. Um, so the, the the case talks about the declension of the noun. And in foreign languages that are heavily inflected, um, the 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 root noun form will stand at the top, if you will, as the starting point, and then uh, depending on how the noun is being used in the clause, right? Um, it starts declining from that root form of the noun. Now, the word decline literally means to lean away from, to depend upon, and these kind of hang under that first version of the noun, and you have these different cases that the noun can take depending again how it's used in the clause. Now, this applies to nouns and their pronouns. So pronouns are very important to read about and to study. And there's a whole collection of them. We know about the personal pronouns: the I, the me, the you, the his, the her, the they, the them, the we, the our. All of those things are personal, and these are nouns that really can be used. Pronouns that can be very clearly used in the person aspect of the conversation that we were talking about: first person, second person, third person, right? But there are other pronouns. There are interrogative pronouns: who, what, when. Well, not when so much, but who and what. Yes, there are um, relative pronouns like that. Um, you can learn about a few other different types of pronouns. So if you get this far in your study of the foreign language and you begin to understand the different clauses that are at play, which we'll talk about just a little bit later, you can see the relationship that some of the interrogative pronouns or relative pronouns will have in you know in the clause. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to explain those or go over those because one, English is very familiar with that, and two, once you get the hang of being able to look at the label and understand how the label works, I think a lot of the concepts you're getting through these videos will allow you to take those concepts and go and understand how pronouns, what types there are and how they are used in the clauses. So this is basically all I'm going to say about pronouns, except that they get declined as well. Okay, so you have the noun form at the top, and then you have different forms it can take, different spellings, different endings, depending on how it's used in the clause. And I'm going to give you a quick list of the usual spots underneath of the declension. And I think that one goal for this video, once you finish watching it, is just to memorize those names, even though you might not necessarily know those case names in a robust way. Hopefully you'll get that as you watch a few more of the videos. Your knowledge will increase about what exactly is this case. But right now, just knowing their names and maybe memorizing them and getting a quick idea that we can revise later on would be good. So the cases for a noun are nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative, and vocative. Okay. And I memorized that through a simple acronym of my crazed invention. I go, no go Dave, no go Dave. I'm imagining a person named Dave who wants permission to do something or wants to leave, and I say no go. It's a no go Dave. I hope you can come up with a better one, but this is stuff that came to me on a whim, like literally a decade and a half ago, and I've been using it ever since. So what's the point of trying to come up with a better one? No go Dave. N for nominative, G, no go, for genitive. D is Dave for dative. The two A's There are two ways there: the accusative and the ablative, and then the V at the end for vocative. Of course, I ignore the E. This is a weird guy who spells his name D-A-V. And depending whether I'm looking at Greek or Latin, that extra A might be there or not. So it might be no go Dave, whatever. I'm being kind of dumb here. But the point is, you need to just memorize these names right now. And know that the nominative is always going to be the case that the noun takes if it's the subject. Nominative and subject go together. Okay. Genitive is the case the noun takes when it's trying to display. In English, usually it's possession. It's with the pronoun, excuse me, not pronoun, preposition of. The my car, the car of mine, the car of Matt's car. All right, all of that has possession, the aspect of possession, and it doesn't have to. The owner can be, a table or a floor. The table's color, right? The color of the table. You see, that's the genitive function. Now, the genitive also has a few other functions, but that's its main one. And I think in English, that's the best way to kind of get the idea of what the genitive does. It has to do with showing the origin of something or the ownership of something, the deep connection of an accident with with an essence. You know what I'm saying? The essence of this chair is that it has a back and a seat and legs and can accommodate a person in a sitting position. The accident is that it happens to be green and made out of wood, because it very well could have been, whoops, I'm sorry. The green is the seat, but cane backing and wood. It very well could have been metal, but it would need to have a back and a seat, and it would need to have been built with the notion of supporting a sitting person. So you have the essence, and then you have the accident. The green chair, the green of the chair. So I got a little distracted trying to look at the philosophical function of the genitive besides possession. It does seem to function at a deeper level concerning these relationships between a thing and something else of the thing. Okay, but that's genitive. So we have nominative, genitive, dative has to do with indirect objects. We'll look at this later. Accusative has to do with direct objects. We'll look at this later. And then the ablative has to do with prepositional phrases. The way we use prepositions to indicate movement towards or away from, or positions under or over, or maybe a position in time, after, before, during. Okay, so that would be your ablative. It really corresponds to much of the positional and temporal, spatial and temporal ways we use prepositions. Time out. If you don't know what a preposition is, you're going to need to know it. But if you just Google it and get a list of prepositions and pay attention to how you use them when you speak, that should be enough for you to be able to move forward with deep grammar. Okay, so that's really why I'm not doing another video on presuppositions, because what I just said should suffice for you to get a decent working knowledge of this if you don't have it already. All right, so the ablative really is focusing on the prepositional use. And then vocative is the case a noun would take if you're addressing someone else in direct address. Oh, man. Oh, world. You want to give a world speech. Just open your window and speak to the world. I approve and recommend the cathartic properties of world speeches. And you start off with, oh, world, right? That's vocative. Now, in English, we usually take care of this by just using somebody's name. Names are indeclinable. You don't, for us in English, we just say the name. Most of our nouns actually do not get declined in English. But when you're learning a foreign language, the chances are about 80% you're going to run across noun declension, so you need to know the cases. But for vocative in English, we just throw out the name, or we say, hey, you, or hey, or whatever. You get the point. So cases: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative, and vocative. 6. In Greek, they don't really distinguish the ablative. So in Greek, you still have no go Dave, but it's a shorter Dave. It's nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and vocative. Okay, and but in Latin you have the ablative. There's another line of there's another case down there, right? So, I've studied Greek and Latin extensively, and those are the cases that I know of that appear in those two languages, and that's as far as what Hebrew does, what Russian does, what French does, what Latin does, Italian. I have no idea. But because of my faith in the way deep grammar works, I'm going to be saying they have cases too. They have nominative, they have dative, they have genitive, dative, they have accusative, they probably have some sort of ablative function happening, they have vocative. Even though it might take on a different form or be placed a different way, those are functions that human beings are interested in doing. As we relate to reality, time, space, displacement, truth, verities, and other people, we like to call out other people. We like to talk about things in their position in reality, under something, over something, behind something. We like to talk about their position in time. So to me, it's like, I don't care what language you're talking about. I don't care what era of that language. You're going to have ablative function happening, whether they call it ablative or not. So it's just good to know these cases, memorize the terms. If you don't like the no-go Dave thing, come up with one of your own. It just has to be something that'll help you remember this stuff. And try to work with the basic understanding of what it is. Get ready to revise those concepts as we do some more videos. Maybe ask AI or go onto Google and see what they say about genitive case and vocative case and ablative case and get some examples and grow that way. Okay? Thank you for watching.